Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. Sitting in for Pinky Webb, I'm Mai Rodriguez. Today on the program, a House panel chair thwarts a fellow lawmaker's attempt to delay the hearing on the bill seeking to protect the LGBTQ plus community against discrimination. House Gender Equality Committee Chair and Bataan Representative Geraldine joins us in the show. The country detects yet another subvariant of Omicron COVID-19, this time from a senior citizen without a known travel history. Infectious diseases expert Dr. Geraldine tells us more. Yet another attempt to delay in Congress the passage of the bill seeking to penalize discrimination on the basis of sexual orientation, gender identity or expression, or SOGI. The father and son duo of CBAC Party List Representative Eddie Villanueva and Senate Majority Leader Joel Villanueva launched parallel parliamentary tactics last week to hinder proposals on the bill. LGBTQ plus group Bahaghari is now asking President Bongbong Marcos to reveal his position on the bill that has been languishing in Congress. Let's go straight to the source of the story, the chair of the House Gender Equality Committee and Bataan Representative Geraldine. Good morning, Congresswoman.
Good morning, Mai, and good morning to all of our viewers.
Okay, Congresswoman, let's backtrack for a bit. Let's take a look at what happened at the House over your committee hearing on the SOGI bill. CBAC Party List Representative Eddie Villanueva tried to defer the hearing and called it illegal. Can you tell us what happened exactly, and what do you make of this move, and what is the impact on the bill?
Well, Wednesday of last week, we held our first hearing on the SOGI Equality Bill, or the Anti-discrimination Bill, based on sexual orientation and gender identity and expression. And before us, we had a total of around 300 resource persons. And we were in the process of listening to the different resource persons when suddenly Representative Eddie Villanueva of CBAC Party List barged into the meeting. And he actually, he was not even recognized yet. And he spoke out of turn, and he requested the chair to defer and postpone the discussion of the SOGI Equality Bill. And then I asked him why, for what reason. He said that he still had a pending request or appeal to the Rules Committee to transfer the tackling of the SOGI Equality Bill to the Human Rights Committee, which is chaired by Representative Benny Abante, who is a known oppositor of the SOGI Equality Bill. Nevertheless, I had to stand my ground because I was confident that I was not violating any rules. In fact, I had the clearance as well as the authorization of the Rules Committee to continue with the tackling of the SOGI Equality Bill. And in the face of my stand, my firm stand, he actually they called me tyrannical, and they even said that holding the meeting and continuing the meeting would create a dangerous precedent in Congress. He said that because the SOGI Equality Bill is an anti-discrimination bill, and because there is a similar anti-discrimination bill, similar but not the same, that is being handled by the Committee on Human Rights, then we should just stop tackling the SOGI Equality Bill and the Committee on Women and Gender Equality and have it transferred to the Committee on Human Rights. But you know what? I had more than 300 resource persons waiting their turns. And besides, we know that for the past 5 or 6 Congresses, the SOGI Equality Bill has always been handled traditionally and historically in the Committee on Women and Gender Equality. So basically, he was trying to, have it transferred and to stop the meeting, but I stood my ground.
What happened in the end now? What happened in the end? Is it still going to be heard by the Committee on Rules?
Yes, it is going to be heard by the Committee on Rules. In fact, no, not by the Committee on Rules. It is going to be heard by the Committee on Women and Gender Equality.
Okay.
In fact, next Wednesday, the 22nd of February, we are going to hold our second hearing on this bill. Mai.
Okay. What do you make of that move by Representative Villanueva? Is that one of the delaying tactics? And do you expect more tactics like these to surface in the course of passing this bill?
Well, it's hard to speculate what his intentions were, but of course, we know what the effects would have been. That would have been to delay the SOGI quality bill and its discussion. I'm trying to understand where he's coming from. And really, when he says that the comprehensive anti-discrimination bill, which is being heard in the Committee on Human Rights, is one and the same as the SOGI Equality Bill. I do not understand him because these are similar bills, but they are different. In fact, in the last 4 Congresses, these two bills have been tackled in separate committees. The SOGI Equality Bill in the Committee on Women and Gender Equality, and the Comprehensive Anti-Discrimination Bill in the Committee on Human Rights. But let me share to you one secret. It's not actually no secret. In fact, this is the dilemma that we have. We are who are in favor of equality. You know, Brother Eddie and the other oppositors, like Representative Benny Abante of the SOGI Equality Bill, when they come to the Committee on Women and Gender Equality, they claim that we should not tackle it because there is a comprehensive anti-discrimination bill, a more complete one that is on the basis of sex, gender, race, ethnicity, religion, civil status, health status, and sexual orientation and gender identity and expression. They tell us, no, should have it transferred and it should be consolidated with a comprehensive anti-discrimination bill because SOGI is also a protected attribute. By protected attribute, we mean a possible grounds for discrimination. But when I go and monitor the hearings in the Committee on Human Rights on the Comprehensive Anti-Discrimination Bill, one thing is obvious. They always and consistently try to remove and eliminate sexual orientation and gender identity and expression as a protected attribute. So where does that leave us? Really nowhere. And you're actually trying to exclude an entire group of Filipinos who are discriminated against based on their sexual orientation and gender identity and expression. And this is the situation not only in Congress, but also in the upper house.
Yes.
For your information, last week also, the majority leader of the Senate, Senator Joel Villanueva, asked that the SOGI Equality Bill filed by Senator Risa Ontiveros be transferred back to the committee level. It had already passed through the Committee on Women and Gender Equality. In fact, the committee report was signed by 19 out of 24 senators, which indicates great support for this legislative measure. But claiming that there are still several groups, majority of whom are belong to religious groups that still have to be heard. He asked for its, we call this, going back to the committee level. But the strange thing is that instead of being handled at the Committee on Women and Gender Equality, it's now being handled by the Rules Committee, which Senator Villanueva chairs.
Okay, I was going to ask you about that. Senator Joel Villanueva moved to revert it to the committee level. What impact does that have on the bill in the Senate now? And can you give us a status, enlighten us please on the status of this bill, which has been languishing in Congress? I understand it's been 23 years since it has been filed.
Well, what does it mean to have the SOGI Equality Bill handled surprisingly by the Rules Committee, when traditionally and historically it has always been handled by the Committee on Women and Gender Equality? There are two possibilities. Number one, that Senator Joel Villanueva will be objective and listen to both sides. More importantly, the victims of discrimination in the Rules Committee. He will tackle it in a timely and objective and intelligent manner in the Rules Committee. Well, the other extreme would be for him to sit on the bill and defer its and postpone its tackling, which to me would be very unbecoming. The SOGI Equality Bill, just like any other legislative measure, should have its fair share of time. There is widespread clamor for it to be passed. Even in the lower house, we enjoy the numbers. We have the support of majority of the congressmen and congresswomen. It has been 23 years, and this long period of time has served to open the eyes of our legislators to what the bill is and what it is not. We know for a fact that the SOGI Equality Bill is not a same-sex marriage. Hindi po ito panukalang batas na hahayaan magkaroon ng same-sex marriage sa ating bansa. At the same time, we know that this is not a gender recognition law that will allow Filipinos to change their legal gender markers. You need a judicial process for that. Kailangan dumaan sa hukuman. Alam din natin na kinakailangan natin ang Social Equality Bill. Even though we have the Constitution, which is the fundamental law of the land, the Constitution does not specify or identify and define what discrimination is, nor does it prescribe the corresponding penalties that are to be meted to the violators. It needs enabling laws like the SOGI Equality Bill. So my position in this is that I would like to make an appeal to our senators to be faithful to their mandate, to listen and discuss the SOGI Equality Bill. There's nothing really to fear. Let's hear both sides. I mean, this is how we work in Congress. We listen to both sides and try to reach a win-win situation, but always with the welfare of Filipinos in mind. And in this case, their protection against discrimination.
Okay, we will still be talking about the many misconceptions on the bill and what is your timeline on the SOGI bill, but we have to take a short break. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Stay tuned. You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. I'm Mai Rodriguez. Our source today, the chair of the House Committee on Women and Gender Equality and Bataan Representative Geraldine Roman. Okay, Congresswoman, the group Bahaghari is now asking President Marcos to reveal his position on this bill, the SOGI bill that has been languishing in Congress. Do you also have any plans to raise this to the president?
Yes, I do. In fact, during the campaign period, I had the opportunity to discuss this bill with the president when he came for a sortie here in Bataan province. And he told me that, yes, Geraldine, I am against discrimination on the basis of several grounds, including sexual orientation and gender identity and expression. He said that he was in favor of equal rights and equal opportunities, as well as equal protection under the law. So I'm holding on to his promise. I know he's a man with palabra de honor. And I intend to remind our president that discrimination should have no place in our country. I know for a fact that he also lived for quite some time in the United States and in New York, where there are anti-discrimination laws in place. And he knows for a fact that these doomsday prophecies made by the oppositors of this bill have no basis whatsoever and are really far-fetched and just fruits of their wild imagination. When we talk about Sodom and Gomorrah and the moral decay of the entire society, what we seek to gain is basically an inclusive society where everybody has his or her place and is made to feel welcome and can become his or her best self.
Well, in raising this to President Bongbong Marcos, will you push for this, for him to certify this as urgent?
Yes, why not? In fact, I am in I am in contact with the different advocates, and I'm awaiting a common statement to be made by all of the advocates. You know, more than my voice, it has to be the voice of the advocates that have to be heard. Ang tinig ng mga apektado, ng mga nadidiscriminate, ang siyang kailangan pakinggan naming mga lingkod bayan. At kami po sa Kongreso, we are determined to hear this. Kaya nga, patuloy ang pagdinig sa SOGI Equality Bill sa House of Representatives at umaasa din ako na patuloy din ang pagdinig sa SOGI Equality Bill sa Senado. Kinakailangan po nating pag-usapan ito. We let the talks and the discussions continue. Let it be an open forum for an exchange of ideas in an intelligent and objective manner. There's nothing to fear, and delaying tactics really have no place in both houses of Congress. Napaka-pathetic naman, no? Napaka-desperate. And it would be indicative of the lack of one's capacity to engage in debate. Unless, of course, the people behind these attempts would admit to that. But ako naniniwala kung matatalino ang ating mga senador, including Senator Joel Villanueva, at hahayaan niya ang free, objective, and open discussion of the SOGI Equality Bill. Tapos, pagbotohan na lang natin, ganyan naman talaga ang ating sistema. Pero yung pagkaitan mo ang isang legislative measure ng kanyang pagkakataon upang mapag-usapan at ipitin mo ito sa harap ng napakaraming pananawagan mula sa ating mga mamayan. I mean, hindi yan nararapat, hindi yan makatarungan.
Is there already
Right?
a date in mind? When will this meeting take place with the President?
Hindi pa natin alam. Medyo busy ang schedule ng President. Siyempre, aalamin na muna natin kung ano ang common statement ng lahat ng advocates. Haharap din lamang naman kami sa ating Pangulo. Kailangan malinaw kung ano ang aming hinihiling at ito ay sinasang-ayunan ng lahat ng LGBTQ plus advocates.
Okay, let's talk about some numbers now, Congresswoman. How many cases of discrimination against the LGBTQ are you hearing or is being reported per year?
Yun ang ating problema, Mai. Mahirap i-report ang cases of discrimination sapagkat walang batas na nagde-define ano ba ang discrimination. Di ba kung hindi mo alam kung ano yung le-label mo sa isang kaso na apparently discrimination but officially not considered as discrimination under any law, how can you report those? But I know for a fact that these cases of discrimination occur at the workplace, in learning institutions, when school authorities refuse to allow a trans woman to graduate because she dresses like a woman, or at the workplace when an employee is denied the chance to be promoted or is fired simply because he or she is gay or lesbian or transgender, or in the delivery of government services. For example, noong nakaraang pandemya, nung pinagkakait yung ayuda sa mga same-sex couples sa gitna ng pandemya na kala mo baga ay hindi rin kumakalam ang kanilang tiyan at nangangailangan nila ng tulong mula sa pamahalaan. Yan ay malinaw na cases of discrimination. Pero ang tanong, anong batas ang magpapataw ng karampatang kaparusahan dun sa mga magko-commit ng acts of discrimination? Tanong ko rin, hahayaan na lang ba natin ito? Maaring mangyari rin ito sa inyong kaanak, sa inyong pamilya. Kaya ako, inaasahan ko talaga that more and more people will become aware at i-ignore nila yung mga kasinungalingan na ipinapakalat tungkol sa SOGI Equality Bill, katulad nitong paulit-ulit na lang na sinasabing same-sex marriage ito. Suyurin nyo man ito. Wala talagang ganyan.
Palagi nga po itong lumalabas. In fact, this was also brought up by Senator Joel Villanueva, na this would pave the way for same-sex marriage. And also the question is, have you consulted religious groups on this bill? And are there any amendments that you are looking at?
Well, hindi ko alam kung saan pinanggagalingan ni Senator Joel Villanueva. He is an intelligent man and he can read the bill if he wants to. for it to lead to same-sex marriage, there has to be an explicit provision that will allow same-sex marriage. But what you can read in the SOGI Equality Bill is actually the opposite. Merong provision doon na ni-raise dati ng mga religious groups doon sa non-discrimination sa issuance ng professional licenses. Alam naman natin na hindi naman professional license ang marriage license. Gayunpaman, we specifically and purposely included this phrase, this caveat. Sinabi namin, this does not refer to marriage licenses para malinaw na hindi hangad ng SOGI Equality Bill ang same-sex marriage. Ito po ay tungkol lamang sa non-discrimination sa ating pinagtatrabahuan ng workplace, learning institutions, sa delivery of government services, as well as sa mga commercial and public establishments. Dahil pati doon, pinagbabawal, sometimes pumasok ang isang trans woman sa isang bar kahit paying client siya. Nakala mo ba meron siyang sakit na nakakahawa? Malinaw na diskriminasyon yan. So, ayun, kailangan talaga pag-usapan natin itong bill na ito.
My final question, Congresswoman. So this is still going to be heard in the House by the Committee on Women and Gender Equality. What is your timeline on this bill, ma'am? Kailan ba talaga maipapasa ito?
Mahirap sabihin, Mai, pero we'll try our best kasi sa ngayon, pinapakinggan namin ang napakaraming resource persons. Kahit napakarami, ay kinakailangan naming pakinggan at open kami. Of course, ang kanilang positions have to be clear. Kailangan sabihin nila naman sa amin kung anong provision ng ayaw nila, kung ang gusto nilang amyendahan, line by line, word per word, we will address those. Pero this cannot be converted into a Bible sharing session. This is not the proper venue. Congress is not the proper venue to share your religious beliefs, which we respect. We want to be more constructive in how we handle this bill. And syempre, our goal is baka sana bago mag-recess kami, late March, ay makakreate na kami ng technical working group at magkaroon na ng results.
Okay.
So rest assured, now we will handle this in an intelligent manner and objectively, and everybody will have his or her chance, especially the religious groups.
All right. Thank you for joining us this morning on The Source, the chair of the House Committee on Women and Gender Equality and Bataan Representative Geraldine Roman. We will be taking a short break. This is The Source on CNN Philippines. Stay tuned.